And I think sometimes young people do get labels and stigmatised, sometimes quite unfairly, because for every young person that does something a little bit naughty, there are far many more who do a lot of positive things from primary school, secondary school and university. And I think that's one of the things we need to acknowledge more in society, because all sorts of people are very quick to down on young people, and we were all young once, but also all the very positive things and the hard work that young people are doing are often not acknowledged and not put into balance.
Television is a big influence on people, and programs like Sex and the City and like a lot of stuff which promotes sex or alcohol or drugs or any of that, and people will just watch it and see it as being cool, so they'll do the same.
It's just about the availability of things now in a way that they weren't available before, and maybe just the access to information is so much wider with the internet, and everything's very accessible in a way that it wasn't for people in my generation.
I don't really think it's a big problem. I think it's a big problem if you don't address it, you know, but it depends also from what background you come from and where you live. There are major factors too.
Because there's a lot going around, like there's the media helping things like this, like trying to advertise stuff like drinking drug is cool, but it's just very widespread at the moment, like a lot of pressure on kids like to do stuff.
But a whole lot of people don't want to work. You know what I mean? It's how you're brought up. You know how you're brought up. Now, I left school at 14, and I worked up to practically 2002. So it's up to how you're brought up. You know, if they're brought up that working class, if they want to be working class, and a whole lot of young ones now are going to university, and you know, it's brilliant to see it.
It's a big problem because we know that man by nature is a sinner. He's born a sinner, and therefore when man's sin's allowed to manifest itself, it gets into sort of the kind of trouble you see happening on the streets, on society, as opposed to where people intervene to try and curb the development of that in the society. And as long as that is left unchecked, it leads to more and more danger and damage and destruction and so on people, especially young people, because they tend to be thought to have to rebel. You know, it's necessary to rebel and do this kind of thing.
It may be a cultural thing, like in this country, it just seems to be the done thing that people go and like get loaded at the weekend and drink and take drugs and stuff and just fit in with everybody else.
I don't think it's particularly Northern Ireland. I think it's a general thing. I think throughout the United Kingdom and probably throughout the world, it's a global issue. It's just not Northern Ireland. We just have particular problems here, but they have equally difficult problems elsewhere. I don't think it's just Northern Ireland.
I hope the religious factor is lessening and lessening as time goes on here. I think drugs is still a huge issue for kids, and alcohol abuse, because you don't have to look too far to see kids on street corners with bottles of booze, and so I think those are huge issues.
Drinking drugs, it depends what sort of drugs you're taking first of all, but the majority of drugs are leading to crime, unemployment, things like that there. I know myself when I took drugs years ago, I didn't want to work. You know, I just wanted to sit down and relax and do what my mates were doing and all that there as well. But decided to wise myself up, get up in the arse and do something with my life, and you know.
I think the biggest problem today in this country is the fact that all of the decisions that impact on all of our everyday lives are made across the water. They're made in the Westminster Parliament. We don't have any influence over the decision-making process. We don't have any influence over the decision-makers because we don't vote them into office. We can't put them out of office. So they pay scant regard to considerations locally.
Because a lot of people are trying to get out of Northern Ireland student-wise, and there's not much opportunity within Northern Ireland, so there's more debt because people are having to go to Scotland or England or Wales or across to America or whatever. So that's the major things that are here.
There's not going to be any solution that's going to be very easy for these issues. It's simply just a matter of tackling each issue as you come to them and dealing with the people one-on-one. There's not going to be one quick fix solution that's going to really fix everybody that suffers from one particular thing. It's going to be just really tackling each problem. When you meet a person who maybe suffers from something or is involved in something, just really that you have to get involved with that one person and really counsel them and help them through their problem and their struggles.
With every generation, that they have different issues and problems which are different from the previous ones, and they've probably been overlooked, and just and probably also the cost of the fact more young people are going into higher education as well is an extra burden that hasn't been come across before, with where they're trying to encourage 50% to go to university, which wasn't an issue before. So that it's an added burden to the exchequer. So they have to find new ways of funding this, and it probably isn't to the best if you're an individual trying to fight your way through the system and you're having to borrow money from your bank manager who mightn't be that friendly.
Well, I think those issues are a big problem because, like I said, I think it's down to a bit more deeper education and a bit further learning and less reliance on things like, going to sound old here, but I'm only 25 myself, but less reliance on the media so much, on like MTV culture, if you will, that's a bit past now. But a bit more move away from that kind of thing, I think would greatly help.
Boredom. There's no more trouble now between Catholic and Protestant anymore, so they're out in the street and they're bored. So they're running about doing what they want to do now. Oh man.
When I see kids looking around here today, being individual looking down the street there, that angers me. The fact those kids are standing there, nothing else to do. Whereas if they were to go somewhere and get rid of their aggression through sports and different other things like that there, rather than stand in the street corner. This is their lifestyle today. This is the kids' lifestyle today. And it's going to be their lifestyle when they get older.